Alright, welcome back to another video about the Oppressor and his loot drops. This will be a very quick video and you're going to have to start with the quest, a lot to process. It's going to be a main story quest. The Oppressor is going to be south of where we found the bio bulkhead in that video. That has recently gone up on the channel if you want to go and watch that as well, and all of his loot drops. And this is going to be the fastest way to get back into the boss fight arena after completing the quest. You're just going to want to quickly dash around the account using the grappling hooks to fly over all the enemies and just follow this path. It's going to be quite an annoying one to get back into this boss fight because you're going to have to get back into this garage, and you're going to want to use your grappling hook to apply the sludge to be able to trick the camera into pushing you up into the pipeline. Now once it activates, like you say, you'll be pushed up and you're going to have to dodge the grinder trap at the bottom, but just carry your way on and you can go down this doorway on the right, take the elevator up, and I will speed this up in the post. But then there we are at the Moxie Encore machine of the Oppressor. Now all you want to do is hop down and fight the boss. He's going to be an aerial boss, so it will be quite annoying as well. I normally like to wait until he stops moving and then I just spawn my spectres for all the damage I need. Sometimes shooting him can cool him down a bit quicker. He's not that strong, his health bar drops pretty quickly, but just carry on until he's dead. And now the most annoying part about this boss is how he spawns his loot and where it drops. It's going to be quite important to actually check around the entire arena, as I've had different drops land in different areas. I've had a legendary drop actually on the top of this building over there, and it was inaccessible, and I completely lost it. The lost loot machine couldn't get it, so just it might be quite annoying to fight this and get the correct drops that you want. Then you can just jump through the portal again to reset, or you can just use the jump boost vehicle tactic to hop your way back up to the Moxie Encore machine and respawn the boss. Now starting off, we have the Streamer. This has a nice grey aesthetic to it with the legendary perk Delegation, which will spawn these stationary projectiles that fire a beam forward. We'll see what that does in a moment, but it has the red text, "Thanks for the sub, Superfan," which I imagine is a reference to the previous game, Borderlands 3. This is the way Tyrene used to activate with her minions, like the Superfans. Now seeing what the gun actually does, it is a ordnance weapon, so you will have a cooldown on it, and it seems to have quite a high cooldown, but it will spawn these stationary projectiles which shoot out these large beams. They don't track or anything normally. I'm not sure if they can with different parts, but it will be a great addition to your build if you use like multi-hit builds. So Curse Blade for Vex does a lot more damage, as they continually proc the small amounts of flat damage that you gain from Curse Blade. Here you can see it took out the back hive nearly by itself. The Orgmine bosses seem to have a lot more health, so for nearly taking it down it seemed to do a ton of damage. It was obviously an unoptimized build, but yeah, it's a pretty good weapon. The main problem with the weapon is obviously the bosses need to be quite stationary themselves. Otherwise, if they start moving around, like you say, because the bullets don't track, you will miss a lot of your shots. Otherwise, I tried using this against. If you do find this with a better perk with it, drop it down in the comments and we will. But now, moving on, we have the Blood Analyzer, which is a rep kit. It has a nice order-like aesthetic to it, with a bit of blood splattered everywhere, with the legendary perk Immunity Shot, which will always grant immunity to the last element of damage taken for 7 seconds. Now this perk doesn't seem too great at the initial look, but if you compare it to different rep kits in the game, like this one, it has the elemental resistance of 50% for 6 seconds, so it already has a larger duration, and it will gain elemental immunity to any element that you are damaged by. So going against Splash Zone, you can see I was trying to activate it here, but the shock damage just continued to attack me for some reason. I'm not too sure, maybe it was bugged. I did think this was bugged initially, as I then went to go fight against these kinetic enemies, which was a bit more like, if you was immune to these, it's a bit more understandable that it wouldn't work. But then it finally worked again. I respawned the boss and he was doing fire damage as a hazard on the ground, and it seemed to work there. So it seems that this legendary doesn't work all the time. Maybe it's just user error, but personally I wouldn't recommend this rep kit. There's definitely better ones out there, but if you just want to add it to your collection, then you can get it from the Oppressor. Now moving on to the final drop, the Asher's Rise, which is a legendary Maliwan sniper rifle. A very nice red skin to it, with the legendary perk Slow Burn. With the legendary perk Slow Burn, upon critical hits, it will apply status effects instead of their impact damage. So you can see the elements that come with it. I got Radiation and Corrosive. I'm not sure if they're the only ones that come with it, but that's what I got. But they have a 0% chance to proc by themselves. So you have to hit the critical hit. In this gameplay, you'll be able to see the status effect could be very good for status effect builds that any of you have created. I did notice it has a very fast rate of fire, which is good, but it would also mean it runs through ammo very quickly, so I'd be cautious about that. I'm not sure if you can, but if you could get a Daedalus part to prevent the ammo loss, maybe getting like pistol ammo instead would be very good for this gun. The damage output was decent, I found, but I'd probably have to build into this a bit more, maybe using a Maliwan enhancement to spread status effects easier. That would be very good for mobbing, but other than that, the damage of itself could be a bit more desirable. But those were the 3 drops that you could get from the Oppressor.